Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for joining us on short notice. And I am sure nobody's probably gotten a notification yet. Although we only did this about maybe 20 minutes ago, so we can't yell at YouTube too loudly. Of course, wouldn't do any good because there's nobody you could ever talk to in the first place.
Ever. Not until we get to 100,000 subscribers. So we're pushing really hard for that. Yeah.
Most definitely. So I hope you guys can hear me. Can somebody say, hey, okay, I see. There he is. Yes, we are here. We are here. Got your notice. Awesome. Thank you for the kiss from Mexico. Mexico.
Thank you. That's sweet. Thank you, Mexico.
Been thinking about Mexico. It's as it gets cooler.
Yeah, that gets more inviting, doesn't it?
Most definitely. Most definitely. So, guys, lots going on. And really, what's been hitting me for a while is all the protests going on. All the protests globally. Are we in the beginning stages of a worldwide revolution? Do you think that is actually what is going on? Perhaps. We're seeing protests all over the globe. This sign says it all, doesn't it? Many of us feel this way. Truly. And around the world, there's frustration. Is it time for a complete revamping of the whole system that this world finds itself in? Is it time for real change? Good to see everybody. It does feel very intense. The energies feel intense. Many of you guys are feeling it very, very strongly. And now that I think about it, let's take a peek at where the Schumann's at. Well, not too bad right now. We had some peaks farther back a couple days ago. Not insanely high right now, though. Yeah. 7.83 hertz is the baseline. It's only showing a 9 at the moment. So relatively quiet. But the Schumann is definitely something for us to, keep an eye on. So one of the things that hit me right off the bat, because I've been like Nostradamus, I would say kind of like an enthusiast. I always found it interesting as quatrains. You could take them so many different ways. Same thing with so many prophecies. So many prophecies are they're so kind of open-ended, that you could interpret things so many different ways. But his letter to his son, who he named Caesar, was pretty specific. And some things right off the bat, if we look at it literally, are just wrong. Many of his quatrains were pretty interesting, such as Hister for Hitler. I mean, that was pretty damn close. There's quite a few that were really pretty close. And then you got to wonder about him, too. It seems like everybody major is a 33rd degree Mason, and there has been a ton of them. We've touched on some, like Joseph Smith, founder of Mormonism, 33rd degree Mason, and Charles Taze Russell, founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, 33rd degree Mason. And the same thing with Charles Darwin, giving us Darwinism, 33rd degree Mason. Are they controlling or trying to control our minds? So, you got to wonder about Nostradamus too. And so he talks about the end of this age and all. And, he's somebody that was very supportive of the monarchy. So that automatically, if you're going to be supportive of the monarchy, the royal families, the bloodline families, then I got to be suspicious of you. But at the same time, I did study all his quatrains and, was always kind of wondering, hey, is this that?
I never learned about I knew about Nostradamus for a long time, but I really dove in when 9/11 happened because they talked about the iron birds and stuff like that. It was interesting.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That was super interesting and curious. But one of the things he mentioned is all these different revolutions and wars. But then he talks about a revolution that is so good, so great that there's scarcely any nation on the planet that it doesn't touch. And it's interesting too because he talks about floods, he talks about droughts, he talks about all those things, but also the wars. And the thing that always hit me though was the worldwide revolution. And, he speaks plainly in his letter to his son Caesar. So, is that what we're seeing right now? And again, is it all just part of the whole conditioning? The whole basically giving us what maybe they're going to do. This is kind of like the outline of their plans. And then they're just hoping that our consciousness and our expectations help to manifest it. Or when we see things happening, then we think automatically, oh, yeah, there's a prophecy for this. And so it becomes self-fulfilling.
That's what I think. I think a lot of it's self-fulfilling. It's, because our emotions are so powerful and so strong and thoughts are things. So in theory, if they do put it out there for us and we all get scared enough, we could manifest it. That's why I wonder a lot about the news and the media and all of these outlets. I always have to just double wonder, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to pull? They're trying to evoke emotion, and that's in a whole lot of esoteric information. Our emotions are very valuable to them.
So Joffrey says, personally, it's getting to the point where I don't know what to do. I just know what I refuse to do. And that's pretty much exactly what a couple other friends were saying today as well to me. And let me see if I could get that text, because I think we're feeling a lot of the same stuff. I think we are. And okay, so one of our family members, Ruben from Nebraska, says, do you tell an innocent man about to be hung to his death to be patient? That's what it all feels like at this point. And so my recommendation to him was, I understand exactly where you're coming from, but we just have to focus on living in the moment as much as possible, so we don't start really losing our life and losing the opportunity to share with our loved ones, our family, our friends, all the precious times. There's definitely a lot going on. And, politically, there's a lot going on. All the unrest, of course, we have the whole impeachment thing going on as well.
It seems like the impeachment thing has been going on since Obama, though.
Yeah.
And now it's going on with Trump, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And then I hear, I probably shouldn't mention it, but I can't help it. Then I hear about the deep state and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, they keep saying this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And it's like, they're just reeling us in this little by little by little. And it's good information. It's enough to get a person to follow it. But my gosh, are things going to change, and where does change begin? And I guess it has to begin with me, begins within.
Oh, it most definitely does. So, now when everything is so crazy is really the time for us to, latch on and just appreciate all our loved ones and appreciate all the time we have with them, all the moments we have with them. Cherish each moment, and it is precious. We're seeing a lot of things going down. Honestly, the earth changes. They're definitely something of concern, but yet I worry more about what's going on. I'm more concerned with what's going on as far as the Big Brother police state, honestly. To me, that's the most disconcerting thing. And you got to wonder how much of what we're seeing is all part of a big script that's going on. The more I look into it, the more I am suspicious of everything. Because I think our technology is extremely advanced. It's much farther advanced than what we're seeing. And they're starting to let out a lot of info on new tech. We're seeing all sorts of drones. We were driving the other day. We saw a Reaper drone.
It was huge. It's huge. It's just outside of town. Yeah, it's a big It looks almost like it could carry a person, but maybe there was a little gray alien in there. I don't know.
But it's just what's going on right now across the globe. As the protests, as this says right here, protests around the world, violent clashes hit Chile, Hong Kong, Lebanon, and Barcelona. And, Chile, it's a mess. The president's declared a state of emergency in Santiago Friday night, gave the military responsibility for security after a day of violent protest over increases in the price of metro tickets. I have declared a state of emergency, and to that end, I have appointed Major General Javier Iturriaga del Campo as head of national defense, in accordance with the provisions of our state of emergency legislation. Throughout Friday, protesters clashed with riot police in several parts of the city, and the subway system was shut after attacks on several stations. And they are ticked off in Chile. I'll tell you, I watched quite a few videos, and it looked like some of the ones that were riled up the most were the kids, high school students, and college students too. But just, it was crazy. And boy, they are taken to the streets. When you think about it, just look at the governments in this world. Just look at them. I don't think I'm really hit with the fact that it feels like these governments feel to themselves way more important than the people that they're supposed to help keep safe, protected, keeping the peace. You got to wonder, would there be a lot more peace with just absolutely no government anywhere? Zero government. That sounds like anarchy because we were brought up that way. But really, these governments, they just do their own thing. And they are all about self-preservation. And so, it's really a sad situation. And so many of the governments are just so corrupt. It's incredibly corrupt. Whether we're talking anywhere in the Americas, anywhere in the globe, they're all corrupt. Whether you're talking communist, whether you're talking socialist, whether you're talking democratic, capitalist, they're all corrupt. And it's really a very, very sad situation. The corruption is so deep. It's hilarious when you look at congressional approval ratings. I just don't understand how anybody ever gets reelected when your approval ratings are dipping down to like single digits. How is anybody ever getting reelected? Are we just that detached from reality? Is it only people like in our EEA family that are awake, and some of the other channels out there, that do a good job covering these things? So many people, are they just the mindless zombies that we see, depicted in movies? Is that truly how they view us? Like, they're not going to do anything. We'll just keep going with what we're doing. But something's changing. Well, for one, the consciousness of the planet, as we were taking a peek at the Schumann resonance, we're waking up. People are waking up, even though most are still asleep. And then there are those people that just simply want a chance to they might view it as let off steam, stick it to the man, but realize everything that you break and, destroy, it's really somebody else's property. And when we think about government deficits and stuff, it's really, again, it's just basically it's all of our money. Anybody that's ever paid taxes, it really is, because the politicians don't pay taxes. They really don't. The corporations don't pay taxes either. And, on the money that gets just, goes in that black hole, that, that budget deficit, which is ever growing and, never going to be repaid. Do people realize that yet? It's never going to be repaid. And really, it's all the banks when you get down to it. The money, tax money, ends up going to the IMF. People don't even realize where it goes. The International Monetary Fund, where it's lent back out to other countries at interest and other people at interest. So, in effect, taking from the people and then lending back to the people at interest. No wonder people are having protests. We need a complete change of the system is what we need. And, Digital Soldiers number 17 is talking about something that unfortunately is I think many of us think it's really totally real now. There's so much that we looked at in the past as being just, urban myths, things like that. But unfortunately, so much of this is actually real. Sweetgrass 71, we are tuned to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. When she's out of balance, so are we. I agree totally. And, the system has pitted us against Mother Earth. Totally. It's just full of toxicity and greed and every bad thing, really. We could be doing so much better. And there's so many good thoughts that just never come to fruition because of the system. Accelerationism. Okay, I haven't heard of that one before. That's from Johnny's list. Accelerationism. If he wants to elaborate on that, I'd be interested in hearing what he means. So Dennis says our Constitution was suspended on 2/15/2019. We have no rights at the moment. If you look at the executive orders that have come through, going back through even before the Obama administration, but there were a ton of them during the Obama administration that are just terrifying. And it has continued with the Trump administration. Now, I know a lot of people think that he's got a white hat on and he's fighting the system, and he's got our Marines down there in the tunnels going after, the ones that are creating the adrenochrome, and all that. Yeah. But I don't really buy it. I guess maybe I'm a little bit too cynical now that anybody that could get into power is not controlled in some way, shape, or form.
I want to believe that there are those that are out helping our children. I truly, truly do. But the thing is it's all controlled opposition. Is that the right word I'm looking for? It's complete control, and it's disheartening because, I don't know if some of these things are true or not true, but I did hear that they supposedly rescued some children from some really bad things, and I want to believe in my heart and my soul that that's true, but there's no way to verify any of this. Why should we believe? Is it just something they're throwing out there to say, see, we are doing something? Well, that doesn't help me. It almost makes me sad because I know that there truly are children that are suffering, and it doesn't do them any favors to make these reports.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and there's so much control that is still being revved up all around us. So basically what he was saying is we might as well just accelerate things so we could get to the end of it quicker. Yeah. And yes, I agree totally. I mean, the whole system does need to be replaced completely. And it's just a joke. And I think that's what the people of the world are starting to wake up to. But recognize, no violent revolution has ever made permanent change. We need a whole new way of thinking as well.
Well, we need a whole new education system, because I was talking to a young man here in town, and his 8th grade sister, he's in 11th grade, his little sister's in the 8th grade, and he cannot help his little sister on the schoolwork because everything that they're teaching them is now new. So everything, it's like, it's a little bit ridiculous when they just throw this information out for our children to take in and then regurgitate, and it doesn't really mean anything anymore because we have no idea what our history is.
Exactly. And Digital Soldier says, look up Anderson Cooper's family. It's true. That's who's giving us this fair and unbalanced reporting. It's them. It's them. It's all part of it. So Sweetgrass says there's a global power shift taking place, old alliances breaking, and new ones being formed. Yeah, there are. And I will buy that the military-industrial alliance is basically fighting it out with the old banking cabal to see who's going to be top dog. And I can buy that, and I think that type of infighting happens. But do either of them really have our best interest in mind? I don't think so. I really don't, because...
They have their best interest in mind all the time.
Yeah, and just the way that President Trump will always say, well, we got them to spend more money on the military. So, but then he also talked about the military-industrial complex as if he wasn't part of it. So it's really interesting, it really is interesting to watch this. As Elena says, this world is full of zombies. It really, really is full of zombies, unfortunately. But more and more are waking up, and they're waking up globally. And, we were talking about Chile. We have the Yellow Vest protests still going on. And as you see here, our anger is stronger. Yellow Vest protesters gearing up for massive anniversary resurgence. So after a quiet summer, France's Yellow Vest protesters were hoping for a busy fall. So when Amandine Cantournet saw a call last month touting historic 45th gathering on the Champs-Élysées in the heart of Paris, she was willing and ready to make a 5-hour drive from her home near the Swiss border to Paris. And she arrived upon a scene of confusion. I think I saw more security forces on the street than protesters. So, that's obviously not going to be something that's going to be overcome, especially when they're so heavily armed. And anti-establishment, are people giving up? Macron he's a crony. He was completely groomed and put into that spot by the Rothschild family. So it tells you where his allegiances are. It's just nobody does, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but the vast majority of the public does not do any research. And then we can't talk about so much openly. But, as I've shared with you guys, this channel's been so hit with the big C word that it's made it so that, it doesn't support us anymore. So, it's just part of the fact that if you're talking truthfully and you feel like you have to talk truthfully and wake people up, then obviously the powers that be are not going to support you. And, I could see it even by just looking at the analytics that they give us. It's that they don't recommend the channel anymore. He's says BitChute, but you just can't make money on those venues. That's part of it. So, the ads do bring in income. But, we just keep going on. And so Cindy and I, as far as that, we could do, Fortnite asked, how can we donate? We could do Super Chats. We could do Patreon. And we've talked about that. And this is our Patreon. So anybody could join Patreon and just basically pledge even as low as $1 a month. And there are videos that we put up there that don't go on YouTube. And it does help the family as well. So we just started to really focus on Patreon maybe about a month ago, and we have 86 Patreons right now. So it's going in the right direction, which is great. And then also there is Ko-Fi as well. And Ko-Fi people can do a one-time donation or PayPal under Evolutionary Energy Arts. And we do really appreciate it because it enables us to keep focusing on this full-time. Like today, for instance, we did 4 videos. Let's see if this has all done. It's just that one. And so it really does take time to do the research and communicate and put out the videos. So today we did 4. 2 went up on the main channel, and then we're doing this live, and then 2 went on the second channel, which is EE Arts. And One of them was on basically fasting and how to eliminate disease cells, perhaps even viruses. You know, guys, part of this has all been hidden from us too. And honestly, in my opinion, it's been done on purpose because we can just eliminate so much dis-ease by understanding how the body works and just simply periodic fasting, intermittent fasting, some prolonged fasts. It's amazing what happens to the body. Stem cells regenerate. Actually, do I still have that up? I do. Just to show you guys this. Autophagy is basically when cells get cleaned out. And so with our modern society, and if we're always eating all the time, the food, so much of it, even if it says organic, is not organic. And we're loaded with GMOs, toxins. We have stuff being sprayed in the sky all around us. The water's fluoridated, so we got to be either drinking distilled water or out of a well. You know, there's so much that is hitting us constantly. Things build up in our body. Toxins build up in our body. Our bodies are not able to get rid of them quick enough. And then that leads to disease and cancers. If you just basically fasted, and I know it's not easy at first, but if you got used to a system of fasting on a regular basis, your body will get rid of those toxins. It will. You see, you have a complete immune system reboot at 3 days' time. You have a whole new immune system. All your white blood cells are replaced. Stem cells start getting replaced shortly in your digestive tract. You will lose weight because of being in ketosis, so your body switches over to burning stored body fat. Your blood glucose and your insulin stabilizes, so you don't have the wild spikes. You will think clearer. And it's amazing. You actually produce human growth hormone at some studies have shown 2,000 and 3,000 times as much. And human growth hormone is very anabolic, and it's almost like the fountain of youth. So instead of opting for a whole bunch of different medicines, which is going to make some corporations in a certain industry very rich, or eventually getting sick where you actually need to spend hundreds of thousands or millions curing yourself of cancer or something along those lines, and as well as subjecting your body to radiation and chemotherapy, this could actually, adopting a lifestyle like this could actually make it so you never have to face any of those things. And, I think it's stuff people should really know about because, it's all about controlling us in every way, shape, or form. So some interesting conversations going on in there as well. So I thank everybody for your support and keeping us going as well. But I've noticed, it's not just this channel. There's so many channels out there that are giving real truth and just telling it like it is. And when I look at their numbers, they'll go from 10, 12,000 views. Now they're getting like 500 to 1,000. So it's pretty obvious. Fortnite 247. Yeah, if we're talking about, like, if you're drinking distilled water, then you need to make sure you're getting minerals. We always add minerals back to our water, as well as intention. So, tell them what you have on the water jug.
I write words like love and gratitude and appreciation, high vibrational words. And I really got to understand that when I was reading about Dr. Emoto. I can't remember his name, but he wrote a book, I think it's called The Story of Water, and it talks Emoto, yeah. And it talks about how he did a whole lot of research, and he would take water and put the word love on it and take a flash freeze it and take a picture, and it would show up and be like a beautiful snowflake, like these on the screen. And I put these high vibrational words on the water, and I do have a special solution I make for us for our minerals, and I use pink Himalayan salt and distilled water. I mix that together. And as well as I put the words all over the water because it matters. And if you think about it, our bodies we're a whole lot of water. Like I've heard 70, 80, 90. I'm not sure about that percentage.
When we're born, it's almost 85%. And if you left to be like 90, you'd probably be down to somewhere in the high 60s or around 70%. Because we tend to dry up, and that's part of the aging process. So we don't want to dry up. So part of staying healthy is eating as much live foods as possible, fruits and veggies, because they have a high water content. They're also loaded with minerals, and they're alkalizing.
Yeah, they are. So, I mean, because I went from a really bad diet. I used to eat like everything processed. I was terrible. So, but through putting like live charged water in my body and doing the fasting and eating the live foods, I've totally turned around. I'm like a completely different person, and I'm still building on that. It's great.
Yeah, I've been promising you guys, and we're gonna do a video, and Cindy's allowing me to do a video so I could take some photos. She's got some befores and afters, and so just a year ago she was about 100 and
it was like 180.
She was 180 pounds, and this morning she weighs in at 125. So you can make good change in not too long a time. And the thing is that she is so much healthier now, so much healthier.
The brain fog is going away. I had that so bad. I couldn't hardly like read a sentence and then remember it. It was bad. I couldn't retain information. That's getting better too. So yeah, the brain is working better. And I attribute that to a lot of the work you've done on me and the water and the live food. And but it is a true lifestyle change. It hasn't been easy, even though you've made it easier. It hasn't been easy.
But now it's easy.
Now it's super easy, yeah, because like everything is right there for me to do. So now that I see what can happen if I do put these things into play, the motivation is just like right. I am my own motivation now.
Exactly. And then as you feel better, it's just so easy to stick with it because you feel so much better. And, we're not Puritans either. I mean, we'll go out, we'll play pool, and we'll have a couple of beers. So, we like to enjoy ourselves as well. But most of the time, we eat super healthy. And, there was a time when we'd go play pool and succumb to like some fries and ketchup and all that stuff. But I will make my own fries, and at least I know that they're organic as much as can be organic these days, and I know what oil they're cooked in, because there's very few. Well, I mean, as far as cooking at a high temperature, you're best with coconut oil. I love olive oil for salads, and you can cook at a lower temp. But yeah, Cindy's done amazing work. She's also had growths. I don't know if you want to share that.
Well, I've had 2 tumors twice removed that got quite close to my brain, and like it would cave in. They're really corrosive, so they like move into the bone and they'll push right through the bone, and they did have to drill holes. They had to drill all that out to get them out. And then like the third one I had, I did come to see you. I called you and we did a distance because we weren't together then, but we did a distance session, and like my whole side of my head heated up. And then when I went to see the specialist, it went away. And then recently, kind of the same thing happened. I had another one. Went to the doctor, had that confirmed.
This was actually on. This is part of what we were doing this week. Yeah. So she went to a doctor on Monday.
Yeah.
She went to a doctor this Monday.
Yeah, and you saw it, the doctor saw it, and then by the time we got to and you worked on my ear, and it heated up. It's so weird how that happens. And then Thursday we went in, and then there's nothing there. So it's amazing what the energy work can do. And also, like, I can do a really kick-ass pool game too. Like, if you run energy on me, I usually win you. Those are the nights I win you. I don't ever tell you that though.
So yeah, I mean, it's amazing what we can do, but we've been kept in the dark on so many things. We really, really have. It's been purposeful, and that's part of our hidden history as well. it is part of our hidden history. They don't want us to be awake. They really, really don't. We are unmanageable if we're awake because we understand the bigger picture and the true situation that we are in. And thank you, Stephanie, for your affirmation there. I appreciate it. Yeah, don't eat canola oil. I wouldn't eat anything that you would, use on a mechanical surface or anything like that. Elena says, I hate doctors. Yeah, there's just that vibe. I can't stand hospitals. Really can't. Cindy's very, very intuitive and psychic, and she's been that way her whole life. So, she does see dead people, so to speak. She has since childhood. Osboy, good to see you in the house. And it's good to see everybody that's here. We can all really do such amazing things, especially when it comes to healing. We just really have to know and believe. That's really it. It's a matter of knowing and believing. And that's where everything is kind of ass backwards, honestly, in the whole allopathic system over here. As I've said before, and I was saying today, when you look at like traditional Chinese medicine, you're simply out of balance. If you have an issue going on, it's a matter of, well, how do we get you back in balance? How do we correct it? As opposed to like the system where you give it a name and empower it. That's not really what you want to do, especially when you put people in a box and you say, okay, you have X, Y, and Z. So more than likely, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and sorry, there's not much you could do about it. It's just the way it is. What that whole methodology is so backwards from really what you want to do. You want to empower the person. You really want to empower the person. Crystal Core Art and Healing says, yes, all the doctors said I couldn't survive my own T-cell lymphoma. Still here 15 years later, healthier than ever. And we're glad you're here, and we're glad that you overcame it. Yeah, because what you're doing when you're diagnosing somebody and telling them something, if we believe them, then we're going to start to, our cells in our body are going to start to make that happen. If you are sending the mental signal to your cells, we are dying, then, that's going to be what starts to happen. So you have to really be aware of that. You want to stay positive. You don't want to go down that route. And the mindset is everything. Recognize that we are a collective. All your cells, they're alive. They have their own intelligence. And we have to recognize that we're either sending positive or negative signals to our cells. So we want to control them in a positive manner and send them positive vibes. And that's why I so believe in mantras and affirmations.
And meditation, mantras, affirmations, meditation changes the brain, changes our behavior, because I had a whole lot of behavior modification that needed to be done too. And of course, that's like I'm always going to be a work in progress. And there's, quite a lot of PTSD that needs to be rewritten. Like we're like computer codes, and those are changing the way our computer systems work. When we do the affirmations, they're so important, and the meditation is so important. But we're not taught this in school. In school, we're taught what the elites want us to know. And strangely enough, I think I don't know if it's the Rothschilds or Rockefellers. I know it's one of those two that have control of our school system, and they decide what our kids and our medical system is going to learn. Isn't that convenient?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the conditioning. That's part of the whole conditioning. So, again, I want to invite everybody that hasn't joined the second channel yet to go ahead and hit subscribe and make sure to click the bell so you do get notifications, or hopefully you do get notifications. One of the videos today was on Gnosticism, and very interesting there, because we talk about control again, and how certain philosophies, certain religions were actually put down and basically almost eradicated, like Gnosticism. And again, it's all about the powers that be maintaining their control, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to always maintain their control and maintain this reality that we are in. But the blessing is now that we are waking up en masse, so more and more are waking up. And as we all wake up, then we have more and more power to actually shift the consensus reality. The old red shields. Yes, Fred, exactly. Red shields. And of course, there's powers behind that as well. And that's kind of where I was going with the Gnostic line of thought. The archons. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with archons. And the demiurge. And so it's pretty interesting, because there is that line of thought that, what we call archons and the demiurge, perhaps one, if not more, they're actually some form of AI. It's all very interesting, but if we are in some sort of matrix, some sort of simulation, then for sure we can reprogram it. I mean, maybe these bodies we're in are nothing more than just biological vehicles, or apparently biological vehicles, or what we would call biological vehicles.
Right? I'm feeling more and more like a unit computer system more than anything, but that's okay, because I can almost relate to that better. Yeah.
And thus we can rewrite our program. Mm-hmm. And that's the key. We can choose to rewrite our program. And Chris P. is talking about the Platonic solids. Yes, the flower of life, where all those circles are intertwined into patterns. We were looking at Emoto's water experiments. You look at snowflakes and stuff. It's so obvious. It's a fractal universe. Yes, Trini O'Neill says they infiltrate into many religions. Twist the truth, most definitely. Yes, the archons. And I have a very good friend that at first I was very, very suspicious of. Honestly, because that friend showed me some of their ties, which are very, very high up the food chain politically. But this friend's kind of like on the inside and trying to affect positive change. And we had talked about it, and they had said that, really reality is probably most closely related to the Gnostic point of view with the archons and the demiurge. And that's a sobering reality in many ways. Libby is trying to get me hungry. I haven't eaten in 24 hours.
That's brutal.
Yeah, so I shared my schedule, or our schedule, Cindy and I's, on this one. And again, all of our videos go up on Patreon from both channels. So even if you're not a Patreon, you could access all the videos that go up from EEA Arts, and then also the first channel, Evolutionary Energy Arts. And then there's some that will be Patreon only that go up there, that go through different venues. But this one right here, we shared our schedule, which is a pretty tight schedule. So basically we're only eating for about 30 hours out of 168 hours on the week. So we eat in basically a window of 2 to 8 p.m. on 5 days, and then 2 days we don't eat at all. So it gives us 42 hours twice a week of fasting. And as I shared with you with this fasting benefits, so this gets us going pretty strongly on many of the different benefits. And then with intermittent fasting, it allows you to clear out as well. So it gives us a lot of benefit. And, the studies are showing now we can not only halt many diseases right in its midst, but we could actually reverse a lot of aging.
Osboy wanted to know what our thoughts are about apple cider vinegar.
We definitely like it. I think it's very beneficial.
It's extremely beneficial. I think it's really good. Like, I thought that I had kidney stones one time, and I was drinking the apple cider vinegar, and oh my gosh, it was so painful. Really, I'd probably rather do labor, really. It was bad. But the apple cider vinegar, I don't know, it did something. It relieved that pain, and then, I just got better on my own after that. So all hail to the apple cider vinegar. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's most definitely good stuff. There's so many different things we could do to lift ourselves up. But again, one of them is simply, most of us could up our veggie and fruit intake. Everybody is different. Again, depends on blood type to a degree. I know some people don't believe in the blood type, theory at all. I have found that it seems to be pretty true from the people that I've worked with, and as well as myself, family members and friends as well. So everybody's a little different. Like a type O, you might have a harder time eating less animal products, especially meat. But a type A, a lot of times they could just so gravitate straight into a vegetarian diet really easy. And again, everybody's different, and you're on your own place. Hello, Ray Ray. Good to see you, brother. Hello, family of light. So, yeah, the initial question on this one was basically, are we heading into a worldwide revolution? And does it feel inevitable to you guys? Trini says, add a salad. Salad's always great. And I love making homemade dressings. They just taste better, I think, over time, too. Fresh herbs, great. We have some basil growing, and we're going to be doing a lot more with that as well. Chris B says the earth energy is easiest to access during the 3 a.m. p.m. hour. Yeah, there is definitely something to the cycles and the biorhythms. Yes, and garlic. I love garlic too. It's along with onions, great blood purifier. And we use a lot of garlic and ginger.
I heard like garlic and I think onion. I heard that we're not supposed to eat that all the time because it's highly medicinal.
Yeah, that's some lines of thought in some Ayurvedic lines. But then again, I wonder if that was back when food was more natural and we weren't so toxic, as well. Cobalt Blue says they get low blood sugar almost every day. How can I fast and push through the shaky, sweaty effects of hypoglycemia? I need to beat this. You could start by just slowly elongating your fast. Slowly elongating. Like try to just at first eat in a 12-hour window. So, just say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then when you're getting comfortable with that, do that for a week. And then try to nudge it. Maybe it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you could nudge it a little bit more from there. The other thing you could do too is make sure you're off of all the simple sugars. So, my question to you is, what does your diet look like? Are you eating a lot of breads, a lot of pasta, a lot of cereal, a lot of grains, rice, things like that? Because most definitely people that have an issue with the blood sugar roller coaster, you're far better off going into a ketogenic diet, or at least one that is a lower carb diet. Because that could definitely help you as well. So, what we're taking in and when we're getting that insulin response, that's what gives us that roller coaster so much. So, look into a ketogenic diet for sure. And it has amazing effects. It really does change your mental clarity. You've noticed that.
Extremely. Yeah. My mental clarity, that's probably the biggest notice, besides losing quite a lot of weight. The mental clarity is huge. It's wonderful, really. And, I think it replaced a whole lot of, like I used to be on antidepressants and like everything. It was bad. And I'm off of all my medications now by diet change and exercise. I didn't think it was possible. Absolutely not. But here I am. It's great.
Most definitely. And your energy too. So like we have not ate since 8 o'clock last night. And, that was a big salad with a whole bunch of goodies on it and some guacamole. It was good. It was good. Okay. So, but just saying, like today we did a workout. I think we started working out what time?
Around noon.
Around noon. And we probably worked out for an hour and a half to maybe a little bit longer. And tons of energy. Thank you, Osboy.
Thank you so much, Osboy. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you so much. You're always supporting us, and we truly appreciate it, my friend. And peace, love, and light to you. But yeah, I mean, no food today. Last night we ate at 8 o'clock, and tons of energy working out. Tons. We did chest, shoulders, and tris as far as resistance exercise, about, I'd say 30 sets total. And then afterwards, we just did some kicks, like cardiovascular kicks. We each basically will hold a target, and we'll just kick. I'll kick, she'll kick, I'll kick, she'll kick. And we just go at it for like a minute, and then a 10-second break, and a minute, 10-second break. Pretty much as fast as we could go, trying to get as many kicks in as possible. And, then of course we do some stretching, some yoga. And usually every day we do also QiGong and meditation and mantras. And it's so important to maintain body, mind, spirit wellness. You have to attack it holistically. It's so critical because we could totally change the way we feel. I love coffee.
Yeah, we love coffee, Francis. Thank you.
Yeah, so, I mean, my natural inclination is when I get up, I just want my coffee. I don't need any food. And so naturally, I wouldn't even, left to my own devices without even doing a plan, I probably wouldn't eat anything for 4 hours naturally. I would just kind of get on my coffee high, which, some will say you'll lead you to adrenal fatigue. I don't have that. Years ago, I did 23andMe, which I recognize, they keep all your data. They know everything about you genetically. I understand it's totally Big Brother. However, I was recommended, my naturopath wanted me to do it because she wanted to know what was going on genetically with me, and I felt fine. It was more just a preventative thing in her mind, so I went along with it. And it's been interesting because I saw that I have like no genetic predisposition to almost anything. So it's been a blessing knowing that I don't have any of the big things that you would look out for, any of the big markers. But it did show that I have a propensity for liking coffee, and I love coffee. So it just gets me on a high, and that's when I'm usually the most creative and get the most inspired. But also, I get wound up, and then we work out. So, I'm just, I have tons of energy then.
Well, I didn't realize today, like you were talking with my mom, that coffee was one of the most pesticide-ridden things there are. So I know you always like to get organic, but I didn't exactly know why. So I see there's a lot of coffee lovers out there. I would just make the suggestion to move to organic if you haven't already, because I didn't realize how heavily sprayed coffee is.
Yeah, it is one of the most heavily sprayed ones. So, yeah, make sure you're getting organic coffee. And again, it might not be perfect, but if it's not organic, it's going to be laden with pesticides unless you're growing it yourself. And you're lucky enough to be in an area where you could. But there's so many benefits to coffee, and honestly, I just enjoy it. And then we switched to some green teas, different teas, like we had some jasmine tea, and actually, right now we have lavender and hibiscus tea.
Well, that helps with the fasting. When we drink teas, it gives us different flavors. It gives my taste buds something to do because they get kind of tired after like 24 hours. It's wonderful to you start appreciating the teas a lot more.
Yeah, Bad Company says, I thought 23andMe was to get your heritage. That's part of it, just a part of it. And honestly, I recognize it's completely Big Brother. But no, they'll test for all sorts of genetic predispositions. There's like over 100 different genetic predispositions, different genetic things to be on the lookout for, and they're always adding more to it. And so, I mean, I'm always getting notifications that, oh, hey, by the way, we now know this. I mean, it could be, do your cheeks blush in the cold? I mean, they know everything. It's kind of crazy how much they are pouring into it. What's interesting, too, from the genetic point of view is my genetic background changed radically. So I guess they're getting better at pinning it, but it still doesn't match what I was brought up thinking. So, I'm not sure what's up with that. I really don't know what's up with that, because it doesn't match what I know from my parents. So I don't know if it's more accurate than what my parents told me or less. But either way, yeah, they will tell you about all sorts of things that you would have a predisposition to, which is kind of scary. And it most definitely is another Big Brother control grid thing. Dandelion, yeah, dandelion is a great tonic for sure, and tea, kind of bitter, but again, it definitely has benefit. Would I do it again now? No, I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't do it again. It was interesting. It was interesting to know, and just to give you like an instance of it. So on my dad's side, his father was from Mexico, from Michoacan, and his mother was, according to him, Scotch-Irish, half Scotch-Irish, and half Native American. So it didn't really add up, because they show me at like 7% Native American, and it should be higher than that percentage. And also, I would have thought I would have been higher with the Spaniard side, from Spain, but not the case. So just interesting stuff, though. Very interesting.
I looked up, because a lot of, like the one that I did, they don't even count the Native American. So I just added up what I was, and then it said like you're 20 some odd percent nothing, basically, and that would be the Native American, because I know it's a little bit strong on my blood. So I know it's in there. I don't know why they don't count it, though. I don't quite understand that.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, we're always curious about our heritage and stuff, and they'll tell you about Neanderthal variants as well. And I have I think, what did it say? Like 85% of the population has more Neanderthal variants than I do, so I don't have much Neanderthal variants. Okay.
I heard you can get a T-shirt that says I'm 4% Neanderthal or something like that off of those.
Yeah, but it is interesting. It's always curious. So I guess, maybe I got a little bit of peace of mind from seeing that there was nothing there genetically to worry about. But at the same time, what if there was something? Would I then be starting to manifest it because it's in my subconscious? And ultimately, I feel that we are spirit, and this is just a vehicle. So the way I look at it now is it's just like getting into a car. So, I've had some trucks, I've had some economy cars, I've had some big old bombs.
It's nice because we can change our vehicles as we go through this plane.
Yeah, we definitely can. Oh, yeah, I can understand that. Libby says she's adopted, so she's so curious. Well, I could really understand that.
Now, there's something called DNA memory, and like on my dad's side, I don't know anybody on there, so I'm really curious about my dad's side, but there is the DNA memory, and that has a lot to do with our habits and things we do that that look like the same thing grandma did. Say we never met grandma and we still do the same thing. It's our DNA memory. It's quite fascinating.
It is, most definitely. So Elena says that her father is from Michoacan. It's a beautiful place. I'd love to see it, honestly. I really have. I've never been to that area. I've only been to Tijuana and then over to Cozumel as far as Mexico goes. But really, I've been thinking about going down into it. So from my family, we're from La Piedad in Michoacan.
Someone said, can you take, someone asked, can you take supplements while fasting? Is brandishing net news. It depends on what the supplement is. And I know Mindy Peltz, she has a really good website where there's certain things she recommends, like someone else while you're fasting, someone else mentioned, they have blood sugar issues when they fast. How do you push through that? She'll recommend even bone broth, so that doesn't really screw anything up, but it gives you just enough energy to continue to fast. So Mindy Pelz, Pelz.
Yeah. Yeah, she's excellent. That's who this chart comes from. So she's really good. Yeah, there it is. drmindypelz.com. Really, again, if we could cure so many diseases just by simply abstaining from food here and there, it's amazing. It's just amazing. And we're going to do a lot of videos showing you more, like our exercise routines, our diet. We're going to do a lot more focusing on health and wellness as well, because, it's a challenge in this world. We're bombarded with toxins. So it's so important that we get healthier and that we're, in the best shape we can be, because I don't buy slowing down with age. I'm 54, right? So 54, and I think I'm in pretty good shape for 54.
Yeah. You're extremely good in shape. And you've been good all your life, too. You didn't eat all the processed foods and sugars that I did. I was very naughty. So that also says, it's okay. You can start anywhere. We can meet you where you're at. And go from there. You can change anything. I mean, really, if I've been turned around, you can be turned around. I promise. You really can.
Yeah, we could actually reverse so much, So, and it is important to stay young at heart and to have a positive outlook. And that's beautiful. And, we could do anything if we focus on it strong enough. And it's great when you have a partner that pushes you. And sometimes it could be very hard when you don't have a partner that pushes you and a partner that might even hold you back. And I just say that because I know Cindy went through that in the past as well.
Yeah, it does. It matters. Your partner is everything, and sometimes you'll know when we need to do mantras or something, because you'll see that I need it. So it kind of helps you, and vice versa. It works. It's very symbiotic. It's quite nice.
Yep. Definitely. And, it's amazing. Again, positive outlook, focus on what can be done, not on the negative. And that could change your whole reality, because we can rewrite our reality anytime we want to. Anytime we just focus on it, boom. We can do it. We could change things.
Bad company, I'm with you. It's like there's so many things we can do, and one of the things that we can is really watch our health, and they make it very difficult for us with all the food and all of the teases, and they put all these things in front of us, and we're so tempted all the time. Temptation is everywhere. It's like we breathe temptation. But yeah, we can take it back. We do have control, and that's going to be one of my lifelong missions is to help people take control, because I've lost very near dear friends to the system. And it took unfortunately it took that to wake me up, but I'm awake now, and anybody that I can help lead into greener pastures, so to speak, I'm going to. I'll do what it takes.
And I'll tell you, she has a really nasty roundhouse kick.
He taught me.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's definitely pretty powerful. And just like today in our workout, what a difference. Our kicking is getting better and better. And I started martial arts when I was 12, and I was a pudgy fat boy because basically we moved a lot when I was a kid. My family never had money, so you just kind of went where you could afford. But my parents always wanted to keep me in the best schools, so we were always the poorest family in the best neighborhood. And I ended up being very introverted for a while, quite a while. And it wasn't until I saw two things. I saw the Incredible Hulk that's dating me there. And that made me go buy a weight set. And then I saw a Chuck Norris movie. And so, that made me go sign up at the local karate school. And then, I was just bitten with the health bug, and it's never stopped. It's never stopped. So, it was a blessing in disguise. So, there was like a neighborhood bully that would always circle me with like 5 or 6 other guys and, just beat on me until they were happy and then just leave me be. And so, I just basically signed up for karate, started weightlifting, went in hiding, over summer vacation. This was 6th grade. Yeah. And then when they basically came after me again, I just like full on attacked, and then nobody bothered me again. So, sometimes it takes adversity to bring that out of us. But at the same time, I'm totally peaceful.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, we really truly find our strength when we're at our weakest point. That just seems to be how that works. And yeah, I understand that.
Most definitely. And so, a healthy lifestyle can change our whole living situation so quickly, because our bodies, they will find their balance. They will definitely find their balance. They want to. They want to find that equilibrium. So we just got to give them the right tools, and we can do it. So it is a beautiful thing, because we could change our situation at any time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, if my situation can be turned around, anybody's can. Really, truly. Yeah. I don't know what else to say except for I'm living, walking, breathing proof that, it matters what we eat. And for a long time, I just didn't care. I really didn't, because I didn't think it mattered. But now, oh my gosh, it so matters. And it's going to be a really super cold day in hell before I'll eat another candy bar or a donut or anything like that. I just won't do it, won't touch it. It's not worth it.
Most definitely. And, Bad Company says we're blessed to have each other. We definitely are, because it's so good when you have a partner that you're, in sync with. That just changes life totally. It's an amazing thing. And, have somebody that's supportive of you in every way, and also that you enjoy the same lifestyle. That's definitely a beautiful thing.
That's really big. Like that, other people that I've been with in my life, they didn't enjoy the same type of health and nutrition. And it's like you lose steam. But when there's 2 of us now, oh my gosh, we're going to be like unstoppable.
Yeah. And then you push each other as well, and if not your spouse, your significant other, perhaps there's other friends that you could also latch on for support as well. 'Cause I've had some, amazing gym partners, that would push you and say, "Oh no, you're not backing out. You're going." And I had one partner that would just get in my face and actually yell so loudly that I would be so embarrassed. But you know what? It just pushed me to keep going and pushed me to go to all new levels. So it's good to be nudged every now and then.
It is, absolutely. But I could never do that to you, though. I could never tell you what to do or none of that. I suck at that.
Well, I appreciate your support, because you're always supportive. And that's a beautiful thing, having support. Well, thank you, Libby. Yeah, it's great when you have that, and I'm glad you have that as well. So, my friends, I want to thank you guys for joining us again in this impromptu one. And again, I want to just, invite everybody that's interested, come join us on Patreon. And again, Patreon will have all the videos up on it from both channels. And again, invite you also to come and join EE Arts. And that's more of the slant there is going to be more on the spiritual side. And we're also going to do a lot there with nutrition and health too, nutrition, health and wellness. So that's what we're going to have on that side. And this channel is going to continue with the earth changes, with things happening in the world. And so I want to thank you guys again all for joining us so much. Thank you, David. Thank you. And, I want to thank everyone for the support. Much love, much light, and much peace.
So much peace, so much love, so much health. And I really look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
God bless my friends. Namaste.
Namaste.